round 6 of the WTCR Championship here at RRLeagues.com. Welcome to the live from Suzuka for the Leagues of Japan, featuring a 60km sprint race and then a 120km feature race with a reverse grid top 10 first race position. So before we dive into the live action, let's go through the basics and some of the standings of this championship. Currently we have 31 drivers on the grid, and actually thinking there will be a couple more still coming, so we are in for a treat here tonight at Suzuka. Round 6 of this championship means that stay travel to Macau, close quarters speed track challenge, and we end off the season at Malaysia Grand Prix for some wide open action on the 15th of April. So 3 more rounds to go, and standings are looking quite close indeed. In just a little moment. Qualifying is not super pole anymore. Changed that to a 12-minute qualifying session at Suzuka because we're experiencing some issues with the super pole format. Absolutely three of us, the drivers will have a 12-minute qualifying session in about 9 minutes, and then we'll start Most importantly, the tires are running a 2x multiplier, so that means that everybody will be quite tight on tires there's no mandatory pit stops and we're running full damage mode, so everybody has to be a little bit careful with contact, and especially here at Suzuka, where it's quite difficult to pass, that will be something to take note of. For round 5, we remain in Asia, this circuit, and provided some epic racing, that is for sure. A new track for myself, but we saw some great racing with Pavel Bukonin taking his maiden RRL win, half a second in front of Mike Stoffmehl, and then his Christoph Verstrepen also within 1 second. So an epic scrap there for the podium positions, and they left the rest of the field behind. Bruno Miguel Abreu in fourth was 16 seconds. In the AM Cup, championship leader at that point, Clive Britton, could not attend the race at Ningbo, and it was naturally the second place for the championship. That he took the 9th position overall and the first in the AM Cup in race 2. He finished in 4th position after starting from the 7th spot in the reverse grid. Papai took 2nd place in the first race, and 3rd place in the AM Cup class. Colin Barker took 2nd place in race 2, and Rick Bittersley was in 3rd. Only 24 drivers on the grid that time 2 weeks ago. So that is great to see. We have a big circle in front of us, so a lot of room for everybody to defend their honors. So what does that mean for the standings? Another win for Mike Stoffmehl in race 2, and once he got past Pavel, it eventually left him behind as well. Was the gap at the end of the race, and Duncan Horton finished on the podium for race 2 as well. In the standings, that means that Nico Bravac has lost his first spot in the Drivers' Championship. That's now interesting. We have Mike Stoffmeel and Christopher Strepe in P1 and 2. We have Magnus Smedegaard in P3, Robert Horvat in P4, and so on. So those top drivers and teams represented in the top of the standings at the moment. This is a should be a little bit better. In any case, crank up your YouTube volume. That is for sure. And let's go into the AM Cup standings. As we see, Clive Britton not attending at the Ningbo International Speed Park, and Nigel Wood closing in on him, and now within or 11 points behind. And well, I'll just take a quick break here and try to sort out the microphone. Just a second. Alright, so I think this should be a little bit better. So as I was saying, AM Cup, Clive Britton is still in front, didn't participate in the Ningbo race, but Nigel Wood closing in, now 11 points behind. So we have a bad battle on our hands, that is for sure. Rick Binnersley is trailing a bit, but still in for a chance of this championship indeed. In the Ironman Championship, we take into account all the non-race winners. So in effect, Magnus Smedegaard is winning that championship at the moment, but Greg Metcalf, Simon Fillingham are still in for that. Christopher Strepe missed one race or didn't finish a race, so he could well be out of contention for that one. The world famous Suzuka circuit probably has no secrets for any of you. It's the figure 8 track, a difficult first corner with these front drive cars. Difficult to get the car turned in properly. Then the S's through Dunlop curve, and then through the two Degner curves coming up to the hairpin. Then you make your way up the hill and then down into Spoon curve, the back straight, and then through 130R in these cars should be almost flat out. We'll have to see that in the qualifying session. And then the final chicane, always difficult to get the braking done right, and especially on lap 1 I think we will see some passing still there. Let's hope it doesn't cause any issues. And then across the line and on for another lap. As I said, 60 kilometers and 120 kilometers coming up for us as the drivers get ready for the qualifying session right now. We also have our GT3 Masters Championship running. If you want to join that, head on over to RRLeagues.com and you will find all of the information there. That is run on Sundays, and then also on Sundays we have our NLS or Nürburgring Langstreckenserie from running from February to November with a one race every month. So for the guys who have a bit less time to practice, get in this championship. As you can see, it's multi-class GT3 the Audi TTRS and the BMW M235i. So if you're in for some multi-class action on the Nordschleife, then get in there and head on over to rrleagues.com. So as you can see, Mike Stoffmail setting the pace once again, our drivers championship leader with a 2:11.1. Let me quickly check. We have 36 on the grid, so that means that the server is completely full. Very nice to see that indeed. A full server here for the Suzuka race. Let's hope everybody gets through qualifying and onto the grid and through turn 1 cleanly, and then we will be set for a very entertaining race and a very difficult one to commentate on, probably, to catch all of the action for you guys. So as the timer hits 0, we will get into the qualifying session. As I said, 12 minutes the drivers have to set their times. It's quite a long circuit, as you saw, 2:11. So let's see who's out first. It's Greg Metcalf, so he's the one we will be watching on his first lap. Pulp Friction Racing together with Robert Horvat, who was absent for a little while, but he's back now for some more RRLeagues racing. If you want to check out some of the onboards, we have posted a link to one of those already, and if I find any more, then I will make sure to post them also here to get some action and some viewers for our racers as well. So everybody out on the track, as you can see. So the whole track pretty much full. Mike Stoffmail only getting out now, so he is out quite late, but that shouldn't be a really big issue, as we have Greg Metcalf going through Spoon Curve, so he is warming up his tires in the Audi and trying to get heat into those tires and the brakes for an optimal lap time. So not flat out for Greg here on his outlap, but that's not necessary, of course. Now getting the best run out of the chicane here as possible onto the power, and off we go. WTCR round 6 at Suzuka. Here's the qualifying session live from the Audi RS3 WTCR from Greg Metcalf. Coming up onto the first corner. As I said, difficult braking and difficult to get the apex here on the right, but good job there by Greg. Now through the S's with some slight taps of the brakes to get that front of the car pointed in. Here as well, a slight lift to get the car turned in, but otherwise on the power as early and as hard as you can. This should be almost flat out. Yes, indeed, through Dunlop curve over the hill. And now we head into the 2 Degner curves. Braking just before the 50-meter board. Turn in. And on the power to pull it out of that slide for Greg. A bit too hard on the curb there. Through Spoon curve now. Also very difficult double braking while turning. And now coming up onto 130R. Let's see what Greg Metcalf does. 143.5 for the second sector, sorry. A slight lift, but quite a nice run for him through that chicane, and he will go across the line first. What time will it be on the power? And it's across the line, and it will be a 2:12.5. All right. Rakuya across the line, and it's a 2:12.2. So he's setting the benchmark. And we're riding on board with Mike Stoffmail. That didn't really sound very quick, but of course this is the Seat, so it sounds a little bit different. Rakuya at the moment setting the pace, but all the times coming in quite close. Horvath 2/10 behind, Lukas 7/10 behind. Just a slight lift there to get it turned in. 15 drivers now, and Stoffmail, Smedegaard, Verstrepen are all setting purple sectors, so let's see what kind of times they put in. Cavaletto goes 15th fastest, and it's across the line. Stoffmail at 2:12.2, just a couple of thousandths, and Smedegaard ahead of them at 2:11.9. Christopher Strepen in second, just behind him, 2:12.1. So Smedegaard setting the pace at the moment. Wesley Brook, meanwhile, he's missed the apex there for the hairpin, but he's not backing out of that lap. The car behind is. So Smedegaard, he's in second spot in the team's championship with his teammate Tom Korhonen, who is in 8th at the moment. So they want to take the fight to Verstrepen and Stoffmail for the team's championship. Well, then that's a good start. Qualify ahead of them. Almost everybody improving on their own time. Camaletto, Verstrepen, Lukas, Corbellari, new driver, Scancarello as well, a new driver to RRL, and just like that, filling up the grid. Still 36 on the server right now. Wesley Brook now through the chicane and onto main straight in the Alfa Romeo. And it's P23 for Wesley Brook. Let's have a quick look. Everybody seems to be on their out laps now. No significant improvements there. Simeon Naku is improving. He's in 25th at the moment. Can he get out ahead of this pack of cars? Simeon Naku across the line, and he stays in 26th at the moment. Simone Scancarello 21st at the moment. As all of the drivers, as I said, are on their out laps now. The top drivers, I must say. Let's have a quick look at the AM Cup, shall we? That should be, I think, Bittersley is in first. Is Nigel Wood? Yes, he is. He's not set a lap yet, or invalid lap at least. And Clive Britton, also no lap set yet. So we have Naku, Oliveira and Metcalf faster, improving on their own times. Let's see where Scancarello ends up. Mike Stoffmail setting a fastest first sector time. Scancarello up to 20th position. Here's Stoffmail in the Seat. 1.5 tenths up on Smedegaard's time. Everybody else just setting green sector times at the moment. And Verstrepen, he is in the pits at the moment, okay. 2 minutes to go, so that's session over for him. As you know, when the timer hits 0 here in Race Room Racing Experience, the session is over. So what kind of lap time will we see here from Stoffmail in Sector 2? 42.5, that's 4 tenths up on Smedegaard. Is Smedegaard on track to defend? Yes, he is. We'll have to see. Oh, and he overshoots the final chicane. Mike Stoffmail will not take pole away from Smedegaard, although it was looking very, very good. André Malden, he's currently in 21st. Can he get into the top 20? Also, Horvat and Britton are improving. André Mol across the line stays in 21st. Here's Robert Horvat, goes into 5th position, so improves from 7th to 5th position. Jim Britton also, can he get into the top 10? That's where we mostly see him, but it's a very competitive field. No, he stays in 18th position, 30 seconds to go. Is there anyone still on the track? Smedegaard is slow, David Dore is slow, Alrella is also not setting a time anymore, so I think, yeah, that should be it. Clive Britton not setting a time because of a penalty, I think. He has a no qualification penalty, just as Fillingham, Abreu and Papai. So it's Magnus Smedegaard taking pole position here at Suzuka, followed by Christopher Strepe, Mike Stoffmail and Sergio Racuya for the first two lines, starting grid lines. For the AM Cup, as I said, we have Binnersley in first position, Oliveira in second, if I'm not mistaken. Let's have a quick look. No, Albertini was in first. Sorry, he's also in the AM Cup. So 36 drivers now loading onto the grid. Let's hope everybody gets away cleanly. I will be right back with you. Just have a quick drink. As you can see, cars even being put on the grid a bit sideways because they're all still in the final turn. But here we are, 3 seconds to go. We have Smedegaard on the right, Verstrepen on the left. And off we go, the sprint race here at Suzuka underway. Smedegaard gets away well, but he has Verstrepen on his inside. That will not be easy through the first turn. Verstrepen still on the inside. Should be able to take the position, but if Smedegaard can keep it there, should be able to turn in first. Nope, that's Verstrepen into the lead. And I think Stoffmail wanted to follow through but couldn't. Let's have a quick look. The whole field. Here's Corbeillari in last position, so this is the whole field going through the S's. Very well behaved so far, it seems. Lenny de Jong has lost out a bit. He's in last position at the moment. But through the first of the Degner curves. Oh, side-by-side action there. Arella and Armiento. I think Armiento just got past Arella. Look at how close it is coming up into the hairpin. That will be a hot spot. Oh, as someone on the apex there. Just keep it. Alright, so now they can get going again. That's Rick Binnersley, unfortunately, getting tangled up with Daniel O'Brien. They're now in last and second to last position, unfortunately. So our top four: Verstrepen, Smedegaard, Stoffmeel and Horvat. And Stoffmeel, he is side by side on the inside of Smedegaard. There he is, and he will get through just before 130R. You don't want to go side by side there on the first lap of the race. And through the chicane they come. And there we go, onto main straight. Everybody on the right hand side trying to slipstream as much as they can. And it's Ralph Arella side by side with Armiento once again. Can Arella go around the outside of Armiento? A small tap there, but they keep it together. Very well done. And it's a whole pack of cars right behind, as you can see. 33 drivers covered by 20 seconds. As Fillingham is dropping down the order. He's in the gravel in turn 1, I think that is. Yes, indeed. But he gets going again. Not a lot of luck for Fillingham in the last few races. So looking back from the rear view mirror, we have our top 5, and then a small gap to Antonio Armiento, and that's because he is being hunted by Ralph Arella so closely into the hairpin. So we have the Belgian, the Hollander, we have Pulp Friction Racing with Horvat and Greg Metcalf, and now we have Smedegaard in third, and his teammate Tom Korhonen in 13th position. So the team's championship really getting important through Spoon Curve. A couple of different lines there for all the drivers. Again, Stoffmeel get ahead of his teammate. Verstrepen in middle of the road, trying to defend. No way through here. Going through 130R. Very well behaved, that's for sure. Let's have a look. Tom Korhonen, as I said, 13th position behind David Kotchurek, and trying to gain positions. And Janko Glavac, let's have a quick look there. Glavac in 8th. He needs to get to the front. He wants to defend his driver's championship, wants to be in with a chance of regaining that lead. Then he needs to get to the front ASAP. Usually, as we have a big battle going on here, Naku Molteni and Brook side by side, and Molteni gets past Naku. It's Sven Hecke, sorry, that is also involved. We have our first retirement of the race, which is Andre Mol, I think. Yes, he is in the pits, unfortunately. And Oliveira in the pits, but for repairs, probably. So we still have 15 minutes to go, and it's all still very, very close indeed. Who's in our top 10? It's Vlastimir Lucas is in 10th position, which is pole position for race 2. So that is a position to watch. He has a bit of a gap to the guy behind, Jack Camaletto, for which you can have a look at his onboard following the link in the chat. So if you want to see if Jack can get into the top 10 from his perspective, then head on over to his channel. Looking at the AM Cup, it's looking very, very close because it's Albertini in 16th and Nigel Wood, he is in 17th, so he moved up the grid massively, and he's now trying to challenge for first position, as we have Clive Britton as well, AM Cup leader in 23rd at the moment, hunting down Simeon Naku, Sven Hecke and Michele Molteni, but he has a whole gaggle of cars in front of him that he can still challenge in the next 15 minutes or so. So let's keep an eye out for Clive Britton. Moves to the outside line, side by side with Naku. Can he get in front? Around the outside in turn 1 at Suzuka is not an easy task, but Naku just easing off the throttle, it seems, and Clive Britton takes a position 21st for him now. As Simeone Scancarello has retired from the race as well, so obviously some kind of crash for him. Verstappen and Stoffmail just making a bit of a gap to Smedegaard in 3rd now. And Antonio Armiento still only under 2 seconds behind Greg Metcalf, so that top 5 is not in the clear. And as you can see, Vlastimir Lucas here in the 10th spot, but at the end of a whole train of cars, positions 6 to 10, all up for grabs. Lenny de Jong, meanwhile, in 27th position, sorry, battling it out with Corbellari and O'Brien. But I want to quickly check if David Kochurek is in the AM Cup. Yes, he is. So actually, Kochurek in 12th position, here he is. He is in the lead of that class at the moment, not Albertini, not Wood. They are battling for 2nd spot, but it's David Kochurek currently in the lead of that class and doing very well, making some big progression over the last few months, and now running in 12th position here in the WTCR Championship at RRLeagues.com. Once again through turn 1, and everybody has practiced very, very well. It's we've not seen a lot of mistakes. We've seen Fillingham at the outside of turn 1, but no idea if that was self-induced or a small tap by someone there. This is the battle for the lead. So it's Verstappen defending from his teammate Mike Stoffmail. And a small gap to the 3 guys behind, Smedegaard, Metcalf and Horvat. Yes, indeed. And then it's a 2.8 gap, 2.8 second gap to Arella, who got in front of Armiento. That's what just happened. Just saw it too late. So Ralph Arella making it up to P6. Now what can he do? Let's have a quick look at the lap times. Best lap at 2:12.1 for Verstappen. So he's the quickest man on track potentially, and that was his last lap. So Verstappen really putting the pressure on his teammate Stoffmail. And battles are not only close at the front of the grid here for P6 or P10. Also here, Nuno Miguel Abreu, he'd served a no qualification penalty and he is slicing through the field, P24 now. But as you can see, a whole pack of cars in front of him, which is always a nice perspective. Michele Molteni in the Volkswagen, very, very close to Britain. And I think Britain, yeah, he's closing in on Albertini and Wood. So our AM Cup Championship leader closing down the gap. A 2:13.7, his fastest lap. So in comparison, that's looking a bit slower than his contenders, but still, consistency is key. That's what we read all week on the forums as well. So guys, if you like the stream, if you like the racing, give the stream a thumbs up to help the channel, and if you want to be notified of any future videos, just hit that subscribe button. This series is streamed every 2 weeks. We still have 2 races to go. We go to Macau in 2 weeks, and then we travel to Malaysia in 1 month time. So still lots of racing to watch, and you can rewatch the live races for the opening 5 rounds on our channel. Clive Britton looking for the inside line here into the hairpin. Around the outside will be tough, but can he get a good run and maybe have a challenge into spoon curve on Raymond Papai? As Stoffmail is getting close as well. David Dore is getting very close on Antonio Armiento. They are side by side. David Dore has position, it seems. Yes, indeed. So the Cupra of David Dore moving up into P6. Oh, and a bit of a scrap there. Glavac immediately he got in front, but he's dropping back now, so loses position also to Vladimir Lucas. This puts Janko Glavac in P10 now, as Armiento and Dore still side by side. Dore on the inside here in the grey Cupra. Oh, and quite early braking there. So Armiento keeps 7th spot at the moment. This is a great scrap to watch, as the lead gap is hardly ever going over 3/10 between Verstappen and Stoffmail. That gives Ralph Orella some breathing space in 6th position to try and get onto the back of Greg Metcalf, who's less than 3 seconds in front. And we only have 6 minutes of racing left to do. So David Koczurek still holding on to 12th, and Thiago Matos, he is in last position, last of the running order. He gets a drive-through penalty for track limits. Another thing that the guys need to be careful of. While looking at that, you probably saw Lucas getting past Dore. They have been teammates, not in this championship though. So Lucas moving up from P10 to P8 now, as Verstrepen has lost out in spoon curve to his teammate Mike Stoffmail. Working on lap 7, and Stoffmail takes the lead from Christopher Verstrepen. So if he can keep this will solidify his top spot in the Drivers' Championship, and also their team's championship position. Magnus Smedegaard, meanwhile, he's a bit further back, as you can see there in the background. And Horvath and Metcalf running in formation as a team, trying to catch Smedegaard, but that's not an easy task for sure. Meanwhile, this battle here, and Armiento, can Lukáš gain another position? Janko Glavac has dropped back a bit. Lukáš is on the inside now. Going through the S's, that will be a difficult call to get ahead, but Armiento not running the ideal lines here. Of course, it's very difficult to pass here in the S's, but can he defend for the next 5 minutes? That's the question. As I just saw, Koczurek is now in 11th spot. Camaletto was in 11th. He dropped back after a small mistake, probably. So Koczurek up into 11th. How's the battle between Albertini and Wood? Status quo, around 4 seconds, as Lukáš on the outside now for the hairpin. Oh, Armiento leaves the door open. That's Lukáš through. So Lukáš from P10 up to P7 in the course of 2 laps. Great driving by him at the moment. And Stoffmehl putting a big gap between him and Verstappen already, 1.5 seconds now. That's the biggest the lead gap has been. And these guys here are as close as ever. Oh, a small touch there. Lukáš just leaving enough space for Armiento, but he has now lost some time. So we go 3 wide through 130R. That will be difficult. Who is in last? That's Janko Glavac. Was on the grass, but opted to just let off the throttle pedal and live to fight another lap. That's most important. And meanwhile as well, Horvat is now closer than he ever was to Magnus Smedegaard for P3. Can he get onto the podium? Should be working on the penultimate lap now. So 1 more lap after this one. And David Dore has now dropped back to P10. Sorry, we did not get that on camera, but David Dore in P10. Let's have a quick look again here at this battle. But he has a 3.5 second gap to Koczurek behind, so he should be safe for pole position in the second race if everything goes according to plan. But Koczurek doing a great job. He, again, if everything goes according to plan, will win the AM Cup race 1 here. As Albertini and Wood now closing that gap down to 2 seconds. And Clive Britton in 20th overall, finishing off the podium in that class. And Lukáš clearly some pace in hand. He has left these guys, Armiento, Glavac and Dore, behind. So from the cockpit of Glavac, I wanted to say. Oh, and there's Dore just sneaking up on the inside into a spoon curve. Very nice move by Dore to regain 9th position. And as you see, Glavac just slightly moving off the throttle pedal to not get into trouble. Can Dore go around the outside here through the chicane? Gets it turned in. Oh, great action there, and Dore gets through. That's some proper touring car racing by these guys. Glavac will not be too unhappy about P10, I think. I mean, pole position for race 1 can have a lot of benefits. Oh, that's gonna be very close. Armiento. Yeah, nowhere to go there for Glavac. Lucky for both of them, they could keep running, because then you suddenly lose your P10, and if you're in P11, you lose all of that benefit. But the guys, as you can see, starting to struggle with understeer. Tires going off as we are on our last lap now. And as you can see, P23 Rick Binnersley still battling it out with Simeon Naku. So it's battles up and down the grid. A very good race. Some great action here at Suzuka for round one, and we are in for a treat. We get a double length feature race coming up in just a couple of minutes. So Mike Stoffmehl set the pace in practice. Didn't quite get pole position in qualifying as he ran wide at the chicane, but then after passing his teammate Verstrepen, after they both got past Magnus Smedegaard, he will take the win here in race one at Suzuka. So Mike Stoffmehl and Christopher Strepen, the Belgian, the Hollander, taking a 1-2 finish here at Suzuka. Very well done, Magnus Smedegaard. As you can see, will he finish in third? I think he will, but it's very, very close with Robert Horvat. Yeah, it's Smedegaard in third position, Robert Horvat in fourth position. Greg Metcalf will finish in fifth. Ralph Arella will finish in sixth, and Lukas in seventh, as we saw David Dore finishing ahead of Armiento and Glavac. Oh, sorry, might have been Kotsurek taking P10 from Glavac. Did he run out of fuel? We'll have to get confirmation on that. We'll need to get confirmation on the final standings as everybody gets across the finish line. So don't run away. We get the standings of race one very soon, and then about a minute later we head into race two, a 120-kilometer race here around the Suzuka circuit. So if you need to get some snacks, do it very, very quickly, or don't do it at all. So everybody across the line now. Thiago Matos, he is still running. He has not finished yet, but he's coming up onto the final chicane now, and then we will get the final standings of this race. Has Kotsurek made it into the top 10? That's my question, to be honest. Did Glavac run out of fuel, or did he have some kind of issue causing him to lose time? And the gap was about 3 seconds, so that's quite a lot. Here's the final standings, and Kotsurek is in 10th spot. He will start from pole position, so taking the win in the AM Cup for race 1 and pole position for race 2 overall. And as we saw, Stoffmehl taking the win, but Verstrepen actually the quicker driver with the best lap. So we're ready to do it all over again. I will be right back with you. So we have David Kotsurek on the right. Who is in front of him? That should be Antonio Armiento, I think. Yes, indeed. And then we have David Dore in third position. And I just made some slight adjustments to the microphone volume, so I hope that's still a little bit better. Lights are on, 43 minutes on the clock. And off we go. Good start by Kocurek. Armiento, no chance. David Doren is even in front of Armiento going through turn 1. Oh, a bit of curb there for Armiento, but that's P2 for David Doren as everybody seems to get through turn 1 cleanly. Yes, indeed. So that's a very good job by everybody. Magnus Smedegaard, he is in P11 right now, dropping back just ever so slightly. But Armiento coming back at David Dore, regaining second spot. And now let's see how well David Kocurek can defend his first position. This will be a whole new ball game for him. Oh, as Armiento goes wide, Dore moves to the inside, but that's the outside for the hairpin. Vladimir Lucas is behind to take advantage, and yeah, Dore leaves the door open, and Lukas dives into it. But good exit for Dore means he doesn't lose the position just yet. We have 34 drivers on the grid for race 2. Stoffmail making it up to P8. His teammate up into P9, and Janko Glavac starting from P11. And hitting, I think it's Smedegaard, unfortunately. Yeah, hitting Smedegaard through Spoon Curve. He's losing many positions and a lot of time. Not what he wanted after a third place finish in race 1, but well, he will have to live with it. He has 41 minutes to make up for it. P28 is his fate at the moment. Fate, sorry. Ralph Varela once again making it up into P5 after starting P4, I think. So he lost out a position. And David Kocurek scored as a race leader here at Suzuka, followed by David Dore, Antonio Armiento, and Vladimir Lucas. But look at that whole pack of cars, that whole main straight full of WTCR cars. This is what we want to see. This is what we love. And you can be part of the action if you want. Just head on over to RRLeagues.com, and quite a lot of the guys here today are reserve drivers, filling in for the guys that are actually subscribed to the championship but couldn't make it today. So if you want to be a reserve driver, go to our website and you'll find all of the info you need there. Kocurek, meanwhile, still in the lead, and our top 26 covered by 20 seconds still, so everything still to play for, as Stoffmail has gotten past Greg Metcalf already. Now behind Robert Horvat, sorry, his teammate. So everybody running very consistently, not too many mistakes, and well, that might be due to the situation we're in. Everybody's at home. Everybody might have a bit more time to get some practice in the last few days. So that's what we're seeing today. The back straight filled with WTCR cars, as David Dore getting closer and closer to Kocurek, but it's Volkswagen versus Seat Cupra. And another lap 2 done. It's a good exit for Dore. Will Kocurek go defensive? No, he doesn't. That's dangerous. But Dore doesn't want to force the move. Doesn't just outbrake him, but I think that should be moved on for Dore. Yes, indeed, Dore takes the lead, but he needs to leave the door open through the S's. That's not ideal. Side by side for the lead. And Kocurek gets back at him. Great action there. Kocurek regains the lead. after losing it for only 2 corners. Great defense from him, knowing where to place his car and getting the advantage purely on car positioning through the S's. Very nice to see indeed. So Magnus Smedegaard was dropped back to P27. He's in 21st now already. His teammate here, Tom Korhonen, is in 12th position. Yes, indeed. He is behind Jack Camaletto. Here's Antonio Armiento's perspective as Dore had a look at the inside at the hairpin here, but could not find a way past. Antonio Armiento racing for the Ballas Racing team together with Lenny de Jong. Can't find him immediately. He's in 19th spot. So the 2 Italians doing well so far. Oh, slides it in, Antonio Armiento. And Vlastimir Lucas was right behind him. Armiento left the door open and Vlastimir Lucas says, "Thank you very much, I'll take 3rd spot." So that's Lucas up into 3rd position. So this battle pack, these 4, no, it was Dore, Lucas, Armiento and Glavac in race 1, provided an epic spectacle. Will they do that again? Glavac is still in 10th position right now, but Verstrepen momentarily got past Metcalf, but Metcalf with a good defense gets back his P8 position. Here's our race leader, and it's P1 until P7 that you can see here on the screen. Through Degner 2, under the bridge. And into the hairpin. Oh, Lukas has a look at the inside of his former teammate. Can he get a good exit? Yes, he can, but David is still in front. And this slight left-hander coming up onto Spoon Curve puts him in the advantage, as you probably saw in the background, Stoffmail and Horvat actually getting past Greg Metcalf. So Stoffmail in the yellow, Seat behind there, our race winner in race 1. Can he somehow make it to the front? He has 5 cars to pass still. So obviously Kochurek, leader in the AM Cup, without any question. Who's in second? It's Albertini. He's in 18th overall. He is in second. And then we have Nigel Wood. No, sorry, Clive Britton is in second. He's in 16th overall. Albertini 18th is in third as we start lap 4. All the way to the far inside for Kochurek, defending into turn 1. That's what you want to do, but leaves the door open then by braking just a little bit too late. And I think now it's a done deal. David Dore gets through for P1, takes the lead here at Suzuka. Now, as I said as well at Ningbo 2 weeks ago, once you lose that lead, it's very difficult to not lose concentration. So let's keep an eye out on David Kochurek and see if he can just keep his composure and now keep Lukas behind for as long as he can. Dore will be hoping he does as we go through the Degner curves once again. And Stoffmail gets past Ralph Arella through the S's up into P5. The whole top 10 covered by 4 seconds. That's how close it is. The whole top 17 covered by 10 seconds. So Vlastimir Lucas. Stoffmail, Antonio Armiento, very, very close. We have Cupra, Volkswagen, Volkswagen, Honda, Cupra. And a bit of a gap for Dore, over 1 second. Battles up and down the field. Smedegaard making his way up to P20. He's now following Wesley Brook. Glavac still hanging on to that top 10 spot. And then there's a very small gap. Oh, as we have Armiento going off and rejoining in P10 into that gap that I was just mentioning between Glavac and Korhonen. A bit of a tap there into turn 1. And Armiento off and down into P10 now. Can he get back into a good position? That puts Mike Stoffmail in all of the action. Momentarily in front of Vlastimir Lucas, but Lucas gets back through as we go through the Degner curves once again. And the gap to the front now over 2 seconds already for David Dore. But look at this pack. P2 until P12. Covered by 3 seconds. This is RRLeagues racing, ladies and gentlemen. Stoffmail. Lukas has gotten past Kochurek now. Stoffmail also gets past Kochurek into Spoon curve. So Stoffmail up into P3. Lukas up into P2. Now, do they have the pace, Lukas and Stoffmail, to challenge Dore? I'm expecting Kochurek to drop back a bit, but he has the fastest lap of the race at 13.0, fastest of anyone on the track. So he has the potential to be right there with these guys. As we have Horvat, oh, this is all very, very close quarters. Arella, Horvat, Glavac, Metcalf. Stoffmail. Whoa. Lucas just cuts across Stoffmail as Dore leaving puffs of smoke. 29 minutes of racing still to go. And a gap now down to 1.5 seconds once again for the lead. Very sorry, need to correct myself. That fastest lap was not for Kochurek, that was for Mike Stoffmail. Kochurek is doing 13.7s as you could see. Lukas making a small mistake through Degner, and Stoffmail gifted the position and now up into P2. This is now the challenge. Get close to David Dore. Survive the pit stop, because that's what we still have in store for the drivers as well. Well, there's not a mandatory pit stop, but I don't think anyone will try to make these tires last for 43 minutes. Mike Stoffmeel's teammate Christopher Strepen is having a bit of a worse day. He was up into P7 at some point, but now dropped back to P10. Lukas wants to stay as close as he can to Mike Stoffmeel. Maybe he can pull him towards David Dore. That should be the objective. Everything slightly settling down now, but Kochurek still leading the Amp Cup class. Then we have Clive Britton in 14th in second spot over for that class, and Albertini in 20th. He is battling it out on track with Nigel Wood for the last of the podium spots. Nigel Wood in the background here in the grey Seat Cupra. And Colin Barker right there in the mix with the likes of Korhonen, Papai and Verstrepen. Some epic scraps to watch, that is for sure. 43 minutes, so halfway point coming up in about 5 minutes time now. It's quite a short race time-wise. And look at this pack, still so close together. It's looking back from David Kochurek still, so the top three have gone just a little bit. But Kochurek, with Horvat, Arella, Metcalf, Armiento, Glavac, Verstrepen, Korhonen, Barker, Papai behind him. And then only a 2-second gap to Clive Britton in 14th spot. So everybody very much matching lap times. As we saw, it's quite difficult to make passes here, but still the drivers have made it work and without any big incidents. So Armiento off in turn 1, but other than that, no big incidents so far in this race. So here's David Dore's rear view camera. The gap to Stoffmeel has come down. He's now under 1 second. And Vlastimir Lukas has a bit of a bigger gap. Oh, as we have first guys in, and it's Verstrepen and Glavac, two of the normally top runners. We also have Korhonen in, we have Horvat in. So a lot of guys coming in now. That's quite early, but it's, as I said, it's a short race time-wise because it's a fast track, and could be a wise decision to try and do the undercut maybe. That will be, I think, the goal here, as everybody gets going again. Horvat in front of Verstrepen, in front of Korhonen, in front of Glavac. So those four we need to watch from 22nd down. So here's the gap for the lead. Will these guys come in at the end of this lap? And will they swap positions in the pits? Because pit stops always cause some guys some issues. So it's not a straightforward time loss for everybody. You need to get that pit stop perfectly right, as door almost leaving the door open in Spoon Curve. Just close the door quick enough. So Horvat 22nd position, he's 46 seconds down. Well, he was not in the battle for the lead, but he was not too far off. So here, through the chicane, are these guys coming in? Or they will they keep going? Stoffmeel is coming in. Stoffmel comes in, Dore keeps going. So race leader David Dore keeps going. Mike Stoffmel comes into the pits. Vlastimir Lucas keeps going as well. David Kochurek also keeps it going together with Armiento. And I think Arella is also in. Yes, indeed. So we'll have to see where Stoffmel comes out relative to Robert Horvat. So Stoffmel still on the jacks. Stoffmel now drops down. Comes to the end of the pit lane. And Horvat sees him there in the foreground, but not very close. It's about 5 seconds, that gap. And Clive Britton now with those pit stop cycles. Up into P7. Greg Metcalf also got out of the pits and he slotted back in between Verstappen and Korhonen. That's where he was, if I'm not mistaken. So at the moment, no big drama in the pit stops. I'm guessing David Dore here going through Spoon Curve. David will coming at the end of this lap. Doesn't make sense to be going any longer if your closest rivals have come into the pits. Of course, Lukáš and Kočurek not too far back, but I'm guessing they will also come into the pits. As you can see, that gap between Clive Britton in 7th now and Kočurek, it's only 6 seconds for the AM Cup lead, so things can still happen there. So will Dore come in? Yes, he does. Into the pits, getting it slowed before the line onto the pit speed limiter. Gets it stopped right in the tracks, so that's very good. Antonio Armiento keeps going. Not sure if that's the best call, but we'll have to see about that. So here they are. Dore, he has that should be who's that? Yeah, that is Dore. Lukáš is in as well. Kočurek is in. They all get going. And here is Stoffmel. He will get past. Yes, indeed. So Stoffmel takes the race lead from David Dore, and the gap is even at about 3 seconds. Raymond Papai, meanwhile, getting a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Not nice to get, of course, but those are the rules. So Mike Stoffmel starting from P10 and halfway through the race gets into first position through the pit stop cycle. Takes a position from David Dore. So we have Armiento, Britton, Barker, Britton, Camaletto, Wood, and Lenny de Jong. 7 drivers, sorry, still have to come into the pits probably, unless they keep going, of course. As we still have 28 drivers currently running around the track. And once that pit stop cycle has come through, we will have a good view on where everybody is. But yeah, Armiento is the only one to really watch. He was inside the top 5. We'll have to see where he can slot in. Let's have a quick look if he comes into the pits now. Yes, he does. Oh, gets slowed down very, very quickly. Obviously didn't close or didn't practice that pit entry. Probably lost about a second there. A bit too far. So, Stoffmel through the chicane already. So he will, of course, go past Armiento. But where will Armiento come out? Still on the jacks. Stoffmel goes through. Dore goes through. Lukáš goes through. Horvat goes through. So Armiento probably drops back quite far down into P12. So that option to go long really didn't pay off, as the guys in front have gone off as well. I saw Arella and Glavac off the track into turn 1. So we have Nigel Wood and Lenny de Jong still to pit. Nigel Wood is battling it out with Clive Britton for the AM Cup lead. So let's see what he can do. What's the gap there? 30 seconds. That's not enough to get past Britton in the pits, of course. But we'll see if those fresh tires can mean something for him in these coming 15 minutes. So our effective top 3 is Stoffmel, Dore 4 seconds behind, Lukáš 2.5 seconds behind. And then we have Robert Horvat, Christopher Strepe, and Greg Metcalf very close. Kocherek at the moment, he is in 9th position. So dropping back from P1, but still 9th position is far from bad. And Nigel Wood, as expected, coming into the pits right now. We'll have to see where he comes out relative to Clive Britton, possibly, but maybe closer to Binnersley for racing in class. Needs to get back into his pit slot, so that's not ideal. Lenny de Jong as well in the pits. So let's see, as we see everybody going through there on the right hand side. Colin Barker, Clive Britton getting through, still on the jacks. Now gets dropped down, he's at the end of the pit lane. So as suspected, Binnersley will be there or thereabouts. Yeah, Binnersley gets past, and also Albertini gets past. So those are 2 other AM Cup drivers that have gotten past Nigel Wood. He wants to try and dispatch those as quickly as he can if possible. And Ralph Arella now, he wants to get P7 from David Kocherek. Verstrepen as well, very close to Robert Horvat. Oh, good exit from Spoon Curve for Ralph Arella. Puts himself on the inside line for 130R. Will Kocherek concede? Arella is in front, completely in front even. So that's P7 for Ralph Arella. Job well done. And Verstrepen and Horvat, sorry to cut away from the action there as well. But Horvat and Verstrepen battling it out. Horvat at the moment staying in front. Janko Glavac, he's in 9th position and he will need to drive through the pit lane for abusing the track limits. Defensive driving from Horvat. Oh, as Verstrepen goes wide but plants his foot, and Uses front wheel drive to pull himself out of that spin, luckily. So this puts Greg Metcalf right back with Verstappen and Horvat. Jack Caballetto, meanwhile, in 20th position, but with his sights set on Simeon Naku. And Antonio Arimiento, after losing time in that pit stop cycle, now trying to get back into that top 10. He is in P10 at the moment, trying to get past Clive Britton and Kotchurek in Britain, P8 and P9. So that's the effective battle for the AM Cup lead on the track. Very nice, nice to see that, of course. We'll have to keep our eye on that, of course. Smedegaard, meanwhile, making his way up into P11. So not a bad recovery drive from him. His teammate Tom Korhonen is in 13th, so he has effectively jumped his teammate, and there they are, both in the background in the blue Link & Co cars, split by Colin Barker in between. Verstappen challenged Horvat about 1.5 laps ago, but now he's not close enough to give it another go. Greg Metcalf, though, he's a bit closer. And the battle for the lead, very difficult at the moment. Stoffmehl increasing the gap to over 6 seconds to David Dore. As we only have 10 minutes left to go, this has flown by. So let's have a quick look at Kotchurek and Britton. Battle for the AM Cup lead. Kotchurek, fastest lap at 13.7. Clive Britton, fastest lap at 12.5. So very, very quick indeed. And oh, look at that fastest lap time by Mike Stoffmehl to 11.8. So that's quicker than our pole time of Magnus Smedegaard, if I'm not mistaken. Lightning quick there for him. So Britain closing down that gap for the race lead. But still 3 seconds to go, so not that easy. And David Kotchurek is in the groove. As we just saw Jack Camaletto and Simeon Naku. Camaletto just got through there, through the final chicane. Nigel Wood is right behind Simeon Naku. He's in P20, but there are some perspectives still for him. Oh, I just saw Metcalf close to Verstrepen, but he obviously got the braking for the final chicane wrong. And he rejoins back in 8th position, but his car is broken. Greg Metcalf retires from this race. Not sure what has happened there. He went straight on, so I guess there was some kind of contact which put him on the grass. But very unfortunate there for Greg Metcalf. That leaves Verstrepen free to hunt down Robert Horvat, his teammate of Greg Metcalf. And well, it's not a nice, not a good thing for the team's championship either. Greg Metcalf dropping out. Anyway, P5 for Christoph Verstrepen. And Verstrepen is slow. Verstrepen is very slow. He's losing heaps of time. Here's Ralph Arella's perspective. Verstrepen speeding back up. I thought he had a puncture maybe, but speeding back up now. But immediately losing 1.5 seconds to Robert Horvat for no obvious reason. If any of you saw what happened there, just let me know. Was he slowing maybe for Greg Metcalf to get back? That would be quite late. And anyway, Metcalf has retired, so no point in doing that. David Dore going quicker on his last lap, but yeah, of course the gap 7 seconds. Stoffmehl has this completely under control. That's clear. And yeah, that gap between Britain and Kochurek visually looks like this: 1.5 seconds between the two. Does Britain have enough time to challenge Kochurek for the AMCAP lead? The gap is coming down quite rapidly. just like that, Clive Britton closes the gap down for the Am Cup class lead, down to 0.2 of a second. Will he challenge Kochurik immediately? Nope, he opts against it. That's a very wise choice. Oh, Kochurik goes wide now, but again, Britton making the wise choice to not go for that gap, because that would have ended in tears probably. But a good exit from the last turn could give him the opportunity to get past. Slipstreaming on the right hand side. Oh, that was very close. Almost left the door open on the second apex there. Kochurik over the curbs. One more minute to go. We'll quickly have a look where Stoffmail is on the track. He's into Spoon Curve, so probably we will have one more lap after this one, but not exactly sure. And meanwhile, while Britain has closed down onto Kochurik, look who's joining the party. Armiento and Smedegaard are right behind. They're in the pro class, but of course, Kochurik and Britain are free to battle it out for position with these guys as well. But could this throw a spanner in the works for Britain to get the race win that he needs to put Nigel Wood at a distance in the championship and well, recover from his race off 2 weeks ago? Stoffmail, will he get across the line? Yes, he will. So we will have another lap of the Suzuka circuit. Here's the rear view of Kochurik through the final chicane, and Britain holds on to P8. But great to see Am Cup and Pro Cup drivers battling it out. Clive will not be in the Am Cup anymore next season, as he took a podium spot in this championship earlier this season. Can't exactly remember which race that was, but through turn 1 for Kochurik, Britain, Armiento and Smedegaard. Who will blink first? That's the question. I think something will still happen. Positions will not stay as they are. Let's hope they keep it clean. So our overall race leader, Mike Stoffmail, once he got past David Dore in the pit stops, unrivaled. 8.5 seconds is the gap to Dore. Between Doren and Lukas, the gap has been about 2 to 3 seconds for the whole second stint. So good job by those two as well. But we'll follow this battle until the end. So we will probably see Stoffmail, Doren and Lukas on the podium. Horvath and Verstrepen in P4 and 5. Arella is also very close to Verstrepen, just in front. But we stay with the battle for the Am Cup lead. And 7th position overall through Spoon Curve. This is the final or well, second to last chance, penultimate chance for Britain into 130R or into the chicane. That's the only opportunity that he will still get. Through 130R, they keep it clean. Britain's on the outside now for the chicane. Can he Can he make the move? Can he make it stick? RG Bargy. Oh, and Britain makes the pass cleanly, and Britain will take the win in the Am Cup in race 2 of Suzuka. Epic race for these guys, and great driving overall. Sorry to not have focused on our race leader and race winner here for the final of this race, but Mike Stoffmail, very dominant performance once again, takes race 2 as well as race 1 here at Suzuka. David Dore finishes in second, Vlastimir Lukáš in third, Robert Horvat was in fourth, and Christopher Strepen in fifth. Ralph Arella will have finished in fifth, and then as we saw, Clive Britton in seventh, Kochurek in eighth, Antonio Armiento in ninth, and Magnus Smedegaard in 10th. We will soon get confirmation of the final standings as Andre Mol gets across the line, João Oliveira through the final chicane, as well as Lenny de Jong, Thiago Matos going through Spoon Curve, and Michele Molteni. Oh, he's very slow. Is he out of fuel? I reckon. Will he make it? Will he make? Or no, sorry, he did already finish the lap. He's a lap down on the other guys. So Thiago Matos through 130R. Remember, he got a drive-through penalty. So 24th for him in the Audi. Leopard Racing. And across the line for Thiago Matos as well. So here's the final standings for race 2 here at Suzuka. Stoffmail, race winner and fastest lap. Doren and Lukáš with him on the podium. Horvat, Verstrepen, Arella, Britton, Kochurek, Armiento and Smedegaard in the top 10. Britain taking the win in the Am Cup, followed by Kochurek and Binnersley taking the final podium spot and 15th overall. So in an epic night's racing, 36 drivers here on the grid, 34 here for race 2. So great action, a lot of cars, and always nice at Suzuka racetrack to get some close action in the reverse grid that we saw. So many congratulations to the race winner. It's only one. It's Mike Stoffmail who took race 1 and race 2 honors. Race 1 in the Am Cup went to David Kochurek. Second one was very close, but it went to Clive Britton, and we'll have to see what that means for the drivers, teams, Ironman, and Am Cup standings when we come back to you in 2 weeks' time, live from the Macau racetrack, which will be a whole different beast, a whole different challenge for the drivers around the streets of Macau, one of the most notoriously difficult tracks on the calendar all over the world. So the 1st of April, note that down in your calendar, and join us in 2 weeks' time for a new live stream of the WTCR series from RRLeagues.com. If you want to get racing with us or just join our community, you can find us through our website, rrleagues.com. That's our forum, or on Discord, Facebook, YouTube, etc. So you will be able to find us by just looking for RR Leagues, and then you can get racing with us. There's always some spots left for the reserve drivers here in this series. And as I said at the beginning of the stream, we also have a GT3 series running on Sundays, also bi-weekly. And then we have a monthly series, multi-class at the Nordschleife, also run on Sundays once every month with some endurance style racing, races of over 100 minutes. So if you fancy any of that, it's all in Race Room Racing Experience. Join us for that at rrleagues.com. And that's all for today from my side. Many thanks for watching. If you like the stream, give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to be notified of any future videos, and I will see you in 2 weeks' time, live from Macau. Bye bye.